So what are digital communities or online communities, and how are the disruptive technologies like artificial intelligence and blockchain and virtual reality likely to change them in the near future? Social media distrust is at an all-time high, and that's resulted in a lot of organizations trying to spin up their own more private social media style communities, online communities. But what are the promises and perils of what some of these technologies are going to bring? So first of all, let's start with digital communities or online communities. They've been with us for a long time, everything from discussion forums, old style bulletin boards, up to the present with very modern platforms like Discourse, Lithium, Jive, and Salesforce Community Cloud. But all of them have basically the same kind of elements, whether you're building an external community to engage with your customers, or you've got an internal community for your employees where you want them to collaborate and work with each other. The idea behind a digital or online community is that it's for a group of people who have some kind of strong common interest with each other. They've got some reason to be together and to be interacting with each other. Now, this is in stark contrast to social media platforms, which are really open to anybody. But a Facebook group or a LinkedIn group could be an online community, but more often than not, these are standalone kinds of platforms that allow people to interact with each other about some kind of specific topic, special interest, a project, or some way that they want to collaborate with or talk with one another on a regular basis. So thinking about these digital communities, even if we're looking at the most advanced kinds of platforms like Salesforce Community Cloud or Telligent, or one of the market leaders in the online community space, a lot of them are still sort of coming on board with incorporating things like machine learning or the Internet of Things or video search or gesture recognition into their platforms. So I'm very interested in how some of these technologies are going to have an impact in the near or immediate future, because I don't think they're that far off. So first of all, let's think a little bit about artificial intelligence and machine learning. Whenever, as a community manager, you're trying to manage these platforms, there are a lot of tasks that can be very kind of repetitive and not give a lot of personal satisfaction. And that's one of the powerful things about our artificial intelligence, is that it can relieve you of some of those very mundane sorts of repetitive tasks, so that you can track down things that are much more interesting, or really focus on the kinds of engagements that you want to give energy to. So an example of this would be moderating comments. If you're in a volatile community where there are either a lot of spam comments or moderated comments that come up, or even something as simple as greeting newcomers into your community, these are things that an artificial intelligence platform could do on your behalf and maybe make life a little bit easier for you by welcoming newcomers, and maybe by referring to their personal profiles if they've been filled out, maybe mentioning a couple of people who have similar interests, rather than you having to do the legwork and track that down for yourself. It could do that, track them, and maybe even put them into a similar spreadsheet so you could take a look at what's happening over time. Again, I'm dreaming about this. This would be a great kind of feature to offer, and something that would save me as a community manager an awful lot of time on a day-to-day basis. Similar things can be done, in either a discussion forum type of technology, or even in a chatbot kind of setup, where if the community is run by chat, they say something like WhatsApp or Slack, which is doing some pretty advanced stuff with chatbots. Something that can welcome you to the community, offer you some great resources to take a look at, and maybe at a somewhat human scale, introduce you to some of the things that are going to be of interest to you based on what your personal profile is and what you said your interests were when you first joined in. These things could eventually make the translation into voice interactivity. We've seen within the past year or so, Google has been able to simulate a very natural language voice that's almost indistinguishable from an actual human being talking. Imagine a voice interface with your online community that could allow you to have conversations with a AI-powered chatbot that learns and gets better over time at having these conversations. These things are all in the not distant future. We already interact pretty regularly with Alexa and Siri on our phones. Why wouldn't these things be incorporated within an online community context? Think a little bit about some other disruptive technologies that are coming along that we're hearing about. For instance, the Internet of Things, being able to empower connection with other systems, data, products, and services. One of the powerful things about the Internet of Things is the creation of a digital twin. So seeing a system represented as a virtual diagram and seeing how those parts are working, what's not working. This could be something in an internal community for employees where they could have regular live interactions about the parts on a machine that are going to be going bad, or collaborating about some problem that they're seeing that's being shown up in the digital twin of a given product. We could even look at things that may not even, technologies that may not even seem to have a direct correlation with online communities, like blockchain. Blockchain's not super well understood by a lot of people, but the idea behind blockchain is, to offer some kind of security or privacy measures, or the exchange of currency in a more secure kind of setting. Well, if we look at the ability to secure your identity and be able to make that more portable between online communities, suddenly we could have it be a lot more easy to join and onboard with communities on a regular basis, or even make in-community purchases if somebody's interested in a product or service that they've learned about in the community and they want to then go ahead and pursue it and do a payment. Just making all of those things a lot easier, a lot less friction involved with the process. And then finally looking at things around maybe the incorporation of augmented reality or virtual reality. And if we think about augmented reality as being sort of an overlay, the Terminator style view of what's happening in your environment around you, overlaid with rich data information, we could have online communities that are somehow ubiquitous and we're carrying with us through a visual display on a regular basis, so that being in a community is really about being virtually there most of the time, or even in a more immersive kind of environment, a virtual reality environment, where you can interact with other people through an avatar that is representative of you and your personality and your interests. So I think all of these things are rich topics for discussion, and what I'd like to do is tell you a little bit about and invite you to helping us imagine the future of digital communities. I'm going to be holding an online virtual session. I'm really excited about this because we're going to be holding it on a new platform called teo.com, teeoh.com, and it is a virtual meeting platform where you have exactly what I described, a virtual avatar, 3D avatar, where you can have interactions with other people in a virtual environment without having to be in the room. And sort of the implications of that proximity with other people and having those conversations, even being able to have a private conversation with somebody who is virtually sitting next to you without it broadcasting to the rest of the room. That's what TEO allows you to do. And so we thought it would be a great environment to have a panel discussion and a group of maybe 20, 25 people. And we're going to be holding this on Thursday, September the 19th at 10 a.m. That's 10 a.m. U.S. Central Time, 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. It's going to be a free session on teo.com. All you need to do is follow the link that I'm providing in this post and attend the event. You'll be prompted to create a profile, which is also free. I'm not paid anything for getting people signed onto the platform, although I am enthusiastic about it and plan to use it for a lot of my own work. But I hope you're able to join us and maybe add your thoughts to how you think digital technologies are going to have an impact on the future of the online communities that we manage and try to grow. Hope to see you soon.